Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, I'm going to give you guys the best build for all 102 brawlers in the game right now. So this is going to be absolutely the best build in terms of competitive gameplay. I'll be going through every single brawler, saying whether, you know, some of the star powers and gadgets can be usable, but most of the time you just want to pick this build because it is just the best, especially when you're looking to upgrade. And we're going to go through all the buffy brawlers as well. Timestamp will be in the description. Let's fly through it. So Shelly, pretty simple. We've got speed and damage gear. A lot of pros do use the shield gear as well on Shelly, but again, depends on what map you play. And then Band-Aid, 100%. And then moving on to Nita. So Nita, I think it's pretty easy as well with her. I think even if you're facing off against tanks, I just don't think Bear Paws, but it can work, but I think Fofa is the better gadget, especially with the buffies, because if you time it correctly, you know, if a ball's charging onto you, you can still time your invulnerability pretty well. You're going to waste a ball shot, and you're going to be able to keep yourself alive. Bear with me, it's going to be the better star power. Of course, if you're running Heist, then Hyper Bear might be better, but Bear with me is going to be better. Nita's probably the best game mode right now is actually Brawl Ball to counter the likes of Bull, and then you go speed, and I think shield gear is just absolutely essential on Nita because she really lacks the range. She can get pinched down pretty easily, so she needs all the help she can get. So now moving on to Colt. So Colt's best build, I think absolutely right now, speed loader. You pretty much need to try and force yourself to go this all of the time, unless, I don't know, in rare circumstances, in ranked, I don't know, say if Griff and Ruffs and a few other wall breakers are banned, then you absolutely need to break open the map. Then Silver Bullet's better, but Speed Loader is so broken. It's such a good gadget. You can auto-aim it at pretty much maximum range and connect on to the opponents. It's such a strong gadget, and I wouldn't shy you away from going the gadget cooldown gear as well. You know, most people just use damage and shield gear with Colt, but I like to spam the Speed Loader as much as possible. It's the best thing about Colt right now, so that's why I go with the gadget gear. Next up, we got Bull. So T-Bone Missile is by far the better gadget to use. Even since the nerf, all the pros are still using T-Bone Missile. I'm still using T-Bone Missile. Stomper might be better in, I don't know, easier matchups to confirm kills, but against the harder matchups, T-Bone Missile is still much better. It gets you extra damage in your 1 versus 1 as well. Why wouldn't you want to use it? Tough Guy is still the better star power. A lot of people are trying out Berserker, but I feel like Bull is too squishy when you use Berserker. And then with the gears as well, it just depends on the map, but even on bushy maps, I think most pros still opt for the shield gear with Bull. The reason why they opt for that over like the heal gear, for example, is or the speed gear, is because you just need as much health as possible in 1 versus 1. And when you finish off a kill, the heal gear is not really going to be helping you out in that sense. Like, they're just going to take a long time to respawn. By the time the enemies respawned, you're fully basically full health anyways. So next up, you got Brock. So Brock, I think, is pretty simple with him. You just go reload gear and the shield gear, and then with gadgets, again, very matchup dependent. Most of the time when you're playing Brock, though, you are looking to open up the map, but there might be the rare instance where Rocket Laces is better. More rockets is going to be by far your better option. Absolutely. I mean, there might be a circumstance in Knockout where this might be better, but I'll still go more rockets because at least you can confirm the kill. Next, we've got Primo. I don't think it really matters on Primo. He's pretty ass right now. But I think Suplex Supplement is going to be a better gadget. It just literally is. You don't want to break open the walls unless you're running like a Pierce, Nadia, or B, but you just don't use Primo for that. And then El Fuego is going to be your better star power. Again, because I'm a bad Primo, I like Meteor Rush, but I think because of how bad Primo is right now, he needs all the help he can get with the extra damage. So El Fuego is the better star power right now, absolutely. But if you're playing Brawl Ball, I wouldn't shy away from going this star power. And then in terms of gears, again, I think Primo needs all the help he can get in terms of 1 versus 1 interactions. I wouldn't shy you away from going something like this as well to help you cycle up your supers as much as possible, but I personally, especially because just literally Primo feels unusable, you go with the shield gear. Next up, we've got Barley. So pretty simple with Barley. If you're playing ladder, sticky syrup, herbal tonic is good as well in like hot zone. Very powerful. And in terms of the best star powers, you always want to use this star power unless you're facing off against another thrower, and then I advise to use medical use, and then you can just never go wrong with damage and the shield gear with a thrower. Poco is next. So Poco, again, it all depends on the matchup. Tuna Fork is going to be your safer bet though if you just want to get one gadget, but if you're playing ranked a lot, especially if you're Poco, you're looking to counter Lou, you're looking to counter any type of CC, then Protective Tunes is very good in a ranked setting. Screeching Solo is by far your better option. And then I go with the gadget cooldown gear with Poco because essentially you're looking just to spam as much support as possible, and that's the way to go. Next up, we've got Rosa. So Rosa is an interesting one. Most of the time, you probably want like a cheesy strategy of Rosa. And the main reason why pros will use Rosa is just to create havoc and just, you know, make the map like Snake Prairie all of the time. So all the pros use Grow Light. That's probably her only niche in the meta. And again, it depends on how you see the game going. I mean, since the super duration buff, I think Thorny Gloves is a good opportunity to use as star power, especially if you're playing Brawl or more aggressive game mode. But funny enough, a lot of pros are using Rosa in like knockout or bounty, and just again making sure that they can create as much grass as possible. So plant life is probably better in that circumstance. So yeah, that's the first 9. Now moving over to Jessie, it's pretty simple. You want to go spark plug pretty much all the time, even in heist. I don't know about recall spring. I just feel like your turret just gets destroyed so quickly nowadays in this meta. I mean, if you're below mythic, then you probably want to go recall spring, but spark plug's just still the better choice. And again, you want to go energize all of the time. Spark plug, pretty much the way that you use Jessie in this meta, the only way she's viable is you throw your turret just to get it slow, and then at least you can get a kill through the slow. That's her only use case right now. You go damage and shield gear pretty much all of the time. Pet power is probably the worst asset inside of the game. Never get pet power, is absolutely atrocious. Next up, we have Dynamite. So Dynamite, again, in this meta, you think Satchel Charge is probably your better choice, but just because it's such a high cooldown, 23 seconds, and you're never like guaranteed to hit it as well. It is a good gadget, but even the pros use Fidget Spinner, honestly, just because it can help get you away from those assassins, whatever, can help get you some chip damage. I even see like Lukey using Fidget Spinner, non-ironically. So yeah, Fidget Spinner might actually be the better choice, unless you just want to use Satchel Charge, but you've got to use Gadget cooldown because it takes absolutely forever. Demolition, of course, the better one, and you always need shield gear. On Dynamite, Tick is next. So Tick, it's pretty plain and simple. Last Hurrah is going to be a better option. Well oiled is going to be a better option. And then you absolutely need the mythic gear and the shield gear. I mean, there's an odd time that vision gear might work out, but you definitely need the shield gear on top of Tick. So next up, we've got 8-bit. So 8-bit, I even think in heist, cheat cartridge is better. I still use extra credits, but I don't know, it's just satisfying to use. But cheat cartridge probably is better because you still, again, it's a bit annoying with extra credits how you kind of, if you like with your shot, you're just constantly stuck at that angle, just shooting all of those shots. Cheat cartridge, you know, you can go forward in gem grab or in heist, deal some damage to a safe, and then just teleport back to safety, so it's always better. Boosted booster is by far your better option. I mean, if you're literally in an unwinnable matchup, you're up against Brock, Penny, I don't know, some other sniper, then plugged in might be better, but I still go with boosted booster even into tough matchups because all you need is like one full clip and yeah, you just destroy pretty much everything. So boosted booster is better. And then health gear and reload gear is going to be better. I know most of the time I don't really use health gear in the game anymore, but I still think health gear is better just because he's 10k health. I think it works really well with 8-bit. Next up, we've got Rico. So Rico, you want to use multiple launcher most of the time. I think Bouncy Castle's actually improved a lot since they buffed the unload speed of Rico's attack not too long ago. Bouncy Castle can be better, and especially because now I think you only really see Rico on knockout and maybe like Hard Rock Mine, and it's just not really the best. So, I mean, you can switch between both of them. Super Bouncy is going to be by far a better option, unless you are facing off against, again, like a disgraceful counter, then Robo Retreat probably will be better. But, I don't know, Robo Retreat, it's a bit too cheesy for me. I don't really like it. And again, depends on the matchup, but I normally switch between Vision and Reload Gear with the Rico. So next up, we've got Darryl. Darryl's pretty plain and simple in heist, recall in rotator, everywhere else tar barrel, and then steel hoops everywhere. Damage and shield gear. Nothing changes about Darryl. Hopefully with the buffies, his whole kit just gets completely overhauled. I'd really like that. Next up, we've got Penny. So Penny, again, pretty simple. Salty barrel all the time. In terms of star powers, most times it is heavy coffers, but if you're facing off against a Mortis or another assassin, the Master Blaster will help you out with that extra damage. The knockback actually can come in pretty clutch. And again, it depends on the matchup. Most of the time you can't go wrong with damage and shield, but sometimes I like the health gear on Penny, especially if I'm playing hot zone. Next up we have Carl. So Carl, pretty plain and simple. So heat ejector most of the time, but if you're playing bounty, if you're playing heist, you're going to be using flying hook. So you might be thinking, well, this gadget's probably good in heist to get extra damage. Well, no, flying hook is really good in like safe zone, Kaboom Canyon, to get in behind enemy lines and just cause a lot of pressure. So flying hook is your better option. And then protective pirouette, damage and shield gear, you never swap away from that. Next up, we've got Jacky. So yeah, Jacky's pretty pointless in this meta, but yeah, we want pneumatic booster all the time, counter crusher all the time, unless you are facing a lot of snipers. Hardy hard, that's better. And then, yeah, you go this matchup with Jacky, but it's pretty unused. So now moving on to Gus, taking a look at his builds. Cookie Popper all of the time. Spirit Animal all of the time. Oh my god, no way. And then depending on what game mode you're in, if you're playing Bounty, you want to go with the health gear. If you're playing most of things, damage gear, I mean, you can't go wrong with either, but health gear is better into snipers. Next up, we've got Bow. So Bow, pretty plain and simple. I like running Tripwire on high sometimes, or I don't Brawl. Sometimes I like to use it if I'm playing ladder, but Super Totem is by far your better option. Even in highest, pros use Super Totem. You can even just use it to tank shots as well, which is pretty useful. Snare Bear all of the time. Even on bushy maps, I don't think Circling Eagle is really that good because a bow in a bush isn't that menacing. Wow, he's shooting whilst invisible. Just run into him and kill him. Anyways, and then moving on to his gears, I use damage gear and health gear most of the time. I probably just need to buy the shield gear on him as well, because why not? Next up, we have Ems. So M's pretty simple as well. Friend Zoner if you're facing off against aggro. Acid Spray is actually a really solid option. It's pretty difficult though with Edgars and Mortises running around, so Friend Zone is probably going to be your best bet for now. But I use Acid Spray a lot in ranked. When I know I'm not facing off against an assassin, it's a very good gadget. And then Hype's going to be by far your better option. And then with the gears, again, depends on what map it is. If you're playing on a closed map, you want to go with this. Then if it's bushy, go with the speed gear. Stu is next, so Stu is pretty easy. Gassy Hill all the time. And then again, if you're playing Hot Zone or something like Gem Grab, Speed Zone can be pretty good. And then Breakthrough, if you're looking to counter a Rico or counter certain Brawlers, Breakthrough is used more often. And then damage and shield gear with Stu all of the time. Next to a Piper, so Piper, again, it depends if whether you're playing ladder or ranked. If you're playing like ladder, then auto aimer might actually be better. Unless you're playing bounty or knockout, then you may as well just go for a homemade recipe. And in terms of the gears, then again, like what the pros do, they use the health gear on bounty and knockout into other snipers because that's just the way to go. Damage gear, you don't really ever want to stay low. You want to always be topped up at full health with shield gear before you kind of engage. So that's why people use the health gear. Don't be persuaded by other people. And then snappy sniping is going to be better. Next up, we've got Pam. So Scrap Sucker. Yeah, Mama Squeeze is going to be better unless it's a really open map, really open, literally like open zone in hot zone. Then Mama's Hook might be better. And then with Pam, most of the time you just probably want to run like heal or the gadget cooldown so you get as many Scrap Suckers as possible. Frank is next. And Irresistible Attraction all of the time. Sponge all of the time as well. I mean, Power Grab sometimes has its uses, but just to get that 10% extra shield is really effective. And then you can never go away. I mean, sometimes even in pro play, people actually run the shield gear on Frank. Actually, quite often people run the shield gear. They just want as much health as possible. You might be thinking, well, why would you put shield gear on a most high health brawler in the game? Well, sometimes the strategy is just to literally run up the map as quickly as possible and try and score. You know, in Sneaky Fields, for example, you just want as much health as possible. So yeah, but probably health gear is probably best overall. Bibi, Vitamin Booster, by far your best option. Home Run as well, by far your best option. Even with the buffies, the build just didn't change at all. And then again with Bibi, you want to be running damage and shield all of the time with Bibi because I believe the speed gear doesn't stack with Home Run, so you want to go with that. And lastly, we've got B. So B, you want to run Rattled Hive unless you're playing ranked. And for whatever reason you're playing knockout or bouncy with B, which you shouldn't be because she's not good there. But Honey Molasses can be good to tank a gene pool. Rattled Hive is better. Honeycomb is by far your better option. And then damage and shield. So now moving on to Nani, starting off with the gadget. Return Sender is going to be your better option unless you're playing Heist or Brawl or some other weird game mode. Warping Time might be better. And then in terms of star powers, all the pros use Tempered Steel, even in knockout and bounty. That is because you don't typically see the really squishy snipers in bounty and knockout anymore, like the Mandys, the Pipers. You just don't see them. So Tempered Steel is better. And even into those snipers, autofocus doesn't give you enough damage to finish off a kill. Yeah, I just don't know why it does that. You rarely get kills with your Nani super now, so you probably would just want to use your Nani super to, you know, tank shots or just get chip damage to push the opponents back. That's probably why you only use it. And then with Nani's best build, I normally switch between like supercharge gear or health gear, depending on how I feel. Next up, we've got Edgar. So this might be a little bit controversial because a lot of people are debating which star power is better. It's very obvious that Let's Fly is the better gadget. That is definitely because of the 14-second cooldown. I mean, it's really good anyways, but 14 seconds for a jump is crazy. And then, yeah, there's a big debate on which star power is better. I'll be interested to see what you guys think. But after trying Fisticuffs, I was always using hard landing with Edgar. But after trying Fisticuffs, it is the better option. It is definitely the better star power. After again looking at what the pros use, pros are using fisticuffs pretty much all of the time. But at least hard landing is usable now. It's still pretty good and it pairs well with Let's Fly. But the thing about Edgar is that, yeah, once you finish off a kill, you are pretty weak most of the time. But with fisticuffs, you get 30% extra health, so then you can chain. Edgar is like a Mortis. You want to be able to chain and gain as much healing as possible, and fisticuffs allows that. So, you know, once you finish off a kill, you'll probably have another super anyway, so you don't need the extra supercharge from hard landing. So then you can finish, you can jump onto the next person. You've like, it's just a chain reaction. So fisticuffs is the better star power. Trust me, I was a big believer in hard landing. So next up we've got Griff. So Griff piggybank 100% of the time, and again there was a little bit of debate when the buffies first came out. People didn't like Keep the Change, but after seeing what the pros go, Keep the Change is the better star power right now with buffies, and that's mainly because of their extra DPS. I mean, if you're in an unwinnable situation, you know, you got really bad matchup with Griff, then people just put on business resilience and just try and be annoying with him. But Keep the Change is the better one. The pros are using this star power more, just because again of that extra bit of damage. And then with Griff, I normally go gadget cooldown because I want to break open the map as much as possible, but damage, health, you know, you can go either of these. I just go gadget gear because again, you pretty much use Griff just to open up the map. Next up, we got Grom. So ready check is your better one, X Factor is your better one, and then damage and shield. I don't even need to debate Grom. It's pretty easy. Next up, we got Bonnie. Again, Sugar Rush, Black Powder. Nothing changes about this. And then you want to go with Supercharge gear and either the health gear or the damage gear with Bonnie. It's because of how bad Bonnie is, I kind of like the health gear on her, to be honest. Gale is next. And Gale's pretty easy. Twister pretty much all the time. Blustery Blow and Freezing Snow. Again, it depends. I think you use Gale as a tank shutdown right now. Again, if super open maps, Freezing Snow might be better, but you know, pros use Gale literally to try and shut down a Mortis and Edgar or something, so you need that stun. This is just, yeah, just the only reason to use Gale right now. And then damage and shield. I mean, maybe you get a playing pin up on or something. Super bushy vision gear can be really good in Gale, but yeah, just normally use Gale to shut down the aggressive brawlers. Next up, we've got Collette. So Nita is by far your better gadget and probably the best gadget inside of the game. It's completely broken, guys. It's so broken, and that's because you pair it with Push It. So again, when buffies first came out, I still really liked Mass Tax. It's still a very good star power, but Push It is by far your better option in pro play. It is by far your better option because you just destroy people quicker than they can even react. Like, they're just dead. Like, you just 2-tap, well, normally you need like 3 taps and a super to kill most players now with the shield gear, but you just absolutely destroy them. They just have no chance. They just get flown across the map. It allows you to chain really fast and just, it destroys people. You can snipe people across the map as well. Again, Mass Tax is a good star power, but trust me, Push It is better. It's what all the pros are using right now, but again, both are good. Both are good with the buffies. And then I go gadget cooldown because you want to abuse this Nita gadget as much as possible. You want it at every opportunity. So I go with this. You don't get much value out of the damage gear with Collette. So if you don't want to use the gadget cooldown, you've got vision gear as well, which can be pretty good with her because you normally use it on bushy maps, but you use it on open maps as well. But next up, we've got Belle. So Belle Nest Egg is going to be by far your better option unless you're just feeling, I don't know, really zesty. Then Reverse Polarity can be fun. But Nest Egg is definitely better. Positive feedback is better as well. Unless you're facing off against a Mortis, it's the only way grounded is better. And then with Belle, you pretty much never shy away from the reload gear and the shield gear with her. And then lastly with Ashe. So Ashe, all the pros still use this build right here. It's the build that I've been using since the beginning of time. But again, I wouldn't worry. Like, I wouldn't mind you experimenting, especially in like Brawl Ball, Gem Grab, if you're really just feeling, I don't know, like Rotten Banana did, I think, receive like a accidental buff, so it loses 5% health. So yeah, I don't know, Ashe is pretty bad right now, so just experiment with his builds. It's not that deep with him, he's just trash anyway. So now moving on to Lola, starting off with gadget. Freeze Frame is still your better option, although, I don't know, both gadgets are just a bit meh for me. Stunt Double can still be good just to heal up both you and your clone, and especially since the Lola bug, you probably want your clone as topped up as possible. Still with a Kiss is by far your better star power though, and then with your gears, again, it depends with Lola, you always want a reload gear. And then it depends on whether you're playing like highs, whether you're playing a bushy map, you swap between those two. Sam is next, and just look at this build. I don't even need to tell you why this is better. The other gadget and star power are just unusable, so yeah, just use this build. Next up, we've got Mandy, so Cookie Crumbs is by far your better option. Caramelized can be better on a super open map, but Cookie Crumbs is just better to build up your super. And then health gear and the shield gear, absolutely with Mandy. I mean, damage gear can still be useful, especially paired with her super. And then in my sights, it's going to be your better star power. Next up, we've got Maisie, so disengage, and tremors. By far your better option. We spoke about this before. The other builds are just terrible. And then with Maisie, pretty much damage gear and the shield gear should be pretty good. I mean, health gear can be underrated, but use Maisie just to get as much damage out as possible. So damage is pretty good with her. Next up, we've got Hank. So Barricade is going to be your by far your better option, but the pros use water balloons a lot, especially against, you know, the Edgars and Mortises, the tanks. Water balloons is very good against tanks. And then it's going to blow is going to be a better option. If it's a literally super peach, then take cover. Pros sometimes actually use it, but it's going to blow is going to be a better option. But normally when you use take cover, you probably want to use water balloon in this type of setup. And then yeah, this is the best build with Hank with health gear and the damage gear, but I won't shy you away from going the shield gear on Hank as well. Pearl is next, and Overcooked, by far your better option. Heat shield as well, by far your better option. And then with Pearl, you pretty much want to use like health gear, or even like the damage gear or the vision gear. I mean, you definitely need shield on her. I normally just run heal gear with Pearl, but just because you just use Pearl for her health, because she's actually just not that good at dealing damage right now. The twins are next, and fullback is by far your better option. Protocol assist as well, by far your better option. And then, yep, this is pretty much what you want to go with twins. You don't really get much benefit out of other gears with them. I mean, you might want to run like vision gear or gadget cooldown, but damage is just fine. Next we've got Angelo. So Angelo, again, depends on the matchup, absolutely. So pros have been using Sting and Flight a little bit more often now, just because in Knockout and Bounty, it's a bit more like, you see a lot more Mortises, Allies, Kitchies. So Sting and Flight probably has been better in the recent metas. Empower all of the time, and then damage and the shield gear. If you're very bad Angelo, you can go health gear, but damage and shield gear. Because with Angelo, you just want to be constantly just charging up your shots, and then you heal through your super, right? So you don't really want to use the health gear much. So Berry, Friendship is great, is by far a better option. You only want to use this gadget in Heist. Everywhere else is just terrible. So yeah, Friendship is great. Is really good for knockbacks and just also healing up you and your teammates as well. Floor is fine, is by far a better option. Again, waiting for some buffies with Berry to redesign some of his kits. And then damage gear and shield gear with Berry. I mean, you might even want to opt for gadget cooldown as well. So now moving over to Shade. Long arms is your better one. Hardened hoodie as well. By far a better option. And then damage and shield. You never want to swap it away from this build with Shade. Next up, we've got Meeple. So Meeple is very flexible as a brawler. You want both gadgets with Meeple, absolutely, because both are some of the best gadgets inside of the game. And then with your star powers, don't make the, like, unless it's a really open map, then this is the better option, but don't make the same mistake that other people make, because if you pair this star power and with your super, you can actually like take off one ammo to just cycle through to super. I think it takes 4 hits instead of 5 with a star power, if I can remember correctly. But anyways, it takes 1 less shot. That's all you need to know. Next up, we've got Trunk. So Trunk, yeah, you got Worker Ants and new Insect Overlords. It's just by far a better option. And then with the gears, again, depends whether it's a bushy map or not, but most of the time you want to go this, because with your main attack you can actually increase your movement speed anyways, so that's why I often just like damage and shield gear with Trunk. Next up, we've got Mortis. So both gadgets are very, very broken, so I definitely recommend getting both of these. Both super strong. Combo Spinner is going to be pretty much your better option, but Creature Tonight is very, very good as well. If you're a really skilled Mortis player, this requires some really good timing, but it can just make the world of difference. So both of them are very good calls. Snake is one of the best star powers in the game. Absolutely, you need that. And again, this just literally depends on what Mortis player you are. If you're a super aggressive Mortis player, you might want to opt for like speed and damage, or health and damage. This can be very good. But if you're a more defensive Mortis player and just not as great, you look like me, I like to use damage gear and shield gear, but yeah, a lot of like good Mortis players do go the health gear on Mortis, because you just want to be as aggressive and pressure as much as possible. So next up, well, you can actually afford to use health gear because of the recent star power buffies. Anyways, Tara is next. Support from Beyond, absolutely better, unless in ranked you're facing off against like a Sandy and Penny or something, then yeah, support Beyond's gonna be better. Healing Shade is by far a better option, again, unless you're facing multiple single shot brawlers. Black Portal will be better. And then you can see I go this with Tara just because you need the extra health with her. She's quite squishy. You always want to go with this. Jean is next. So Jean, again, it can definitely depend on the matchups. Most time in Knockout and Bounty, Vengeful Spirits will be better, but quite often I've been facing Mortises in Knockout or other aggros, so Lamp Blowout can be better. And then, yeah, Magic Puff is going to be a better option. And again, you definitely want to get the Mythic gear and then swap between, you know, if it's a Shooting Star or Belle's Rock, you go shield gear. If it's like out in the open or something with a lot of grass, vision gear is going to be better for you. Next up, we've got Max. So Max is pretty easy. I go health gear and the shield gear with Max, and then phase shifter and runner gun all of the time. This is by far your best build, unless it is a super, I don't know, you're literally only using Max to enable your teammates. You know, say if you've got a Rosa and a Nita, both of these brawlers are going to get super outranged, I don't know, for example, or a Sandy. You want to enable your teammates to pressure the opponents, then Supercharge is better, but Runner Gun is by far a better option than what all the pros use. So yeah, pretty easy there. Next up, we've got Mr. P. I don't even know, like, Mr. P's best build is just the same as always, but he's just never used, so who even cares? But your better option probably is going to be Porter and Reinforcements, just to help you waste ammo from the opponents. Service Bell can be good, but because it takes so long to get your super, I'd rather Porter Reinforcements. Revolving Door is just going to be a better option, just because once you get your super, that's the best thing about him, just to waste the opponent's ammo. And then damage and shield gear with Mr. P, can never go wrong with that. Next up, Sprout. So Sprout Transplant is going to be by far your better option. Overgrowth, your better option as well. And then supercharge gear and shield gear. Next up, we have Byron. Let's go through his gadgets. So booster shots is going to be 95% of the time your best option, unless you are literally only playing to support your teammates. Then shooting a shot in the arm might be better, because then you can keep yourself topped up as well. But it's like booster shots is just way better. Malaise is going to be your by far better option, unless you're facing off against pets, or if you're playing Ring of Fire, Injection can be better, but Malaise is just better. And then I go with this with Byron, even though damage gear can be pretty good as well. I just like the gadget cooldown because you can spam as many gadgets as possible, cycle through super much quicker. I just prefer that personally. Next, we've got Squeak. So Wind Up is going to be better in Knockout and Bounty. And then other game modes, Residue is still pretty good. And then again, there's always a debate about which star power is better. But Super Sticky should be a better option most of the time. Chain Reaction can be really solid though with Wind Up. Again, it is personal preference, but I feel like without Super Sticky, Squeak's Super is just absolutely terrible. So again, it's kind of up to you on that one. I'll leave it up to you. And then with Squeak, I mean, I think Health Gear is probably best with him. And the Shield Gear. Lou is next. So Syro Syrup is going to be better most of the time, but pros do actually use Ice Block, especially in Hot Zone, just because it's very rare. Like most time you just use your super just to throw it onto the Hot Zone. The pros aren't dumb enough to walk onto that super, so you've just got to use Ice Block. And then Hypothermia is by far your better choice. And then Damage Gear and Supercharge Gear is probably your best option. To be honest, I should probably buy Shield Gear. This setup's probably better now. I used to always use Damage Gear, but just because it's pretty hard to make loot work in this meta, probably Shield Gear is better. Next up, we got Ruffs. So again, depends on your matchup, but most of the time with Ruffs, you actually just use to counter like Pierce, use to counter Meeple in the meta. If it's not against that, then Air Support will be better. So Take Cover is definitely starting to become a bit stronger now. Air Superiority is your better option. If you run a Knockout, then Field Promotion is better. And then with Ruffs, you've got Vision Gear or the Damage Gear. That's going to be really effective with him. But again, I won't even shy away from going Gadget Cooldown, because if you're literally facing Meeple or Pierce, you want to spam those gadgets as much as possible. Next up, we've got Buzz. Buzz is really easy. You want the first gadget. If it's a really bushy map, this one's going to be better. But even in pro play, it's just not really usable. You just want to use this because it pairs really well with the Hypercharge. And then, you know, Ice Shop is better, but again, because Buzz isn't the best brawler right now, and normally you use Buzz to counter other tanks and assassins, so that's why Tougher Torpedo can be your better option. Damage Gear and Shield Gear because he is an assassin. Next up, we've got Fang. So Fang's best gadget, both of them are really, really effective. It literally just depends on the matchup. You're facing like a Leon or something a little bit annoying. If you just want to use this for pressure, this is really good for zoning Kung Fu. Roundhouse Kick is really good for those combinations, so both are very, very good. And again, there's always a debate about this star power. I think Fresh Kicks, unless you're literally facing two snipers, I don't think it's effective to go Fresh Kicks, because then you're only looking to really get the Fresh Kicks super from one brawler out of the three. Pretty much all pros use Divine Souls. It's not a good star power, but it's just really hard to get value out of Fresh Kicks. That's why we just go for Divine Souls. And then Damage Gear and Shield Gear with Fang. Eve is next, so gotta go. And Unnatural Order 100% of the time. This star power is absolute ass. And yeah, got the other gadget is just terrible as well. And then in terms of gears, I go Reload Gear and Shield Gear with Eve, just because you always need Reload Gear. It's one of the best gears inside of the game. And the Mythic Gear just doesn't really do anything. Like, the Hatchlings are just absolutely terrible anyway. The Hypercharge one is good, but there's just no point running the Mythic Gear anymore. She's just pretty unusable in the meta. And next up, we've got Janet. So again, depends. Bushy map, you want to drop the base. But even so, I think Janet's only real only usable game mode right now is Gem Grab, and Backstage Pass is the reason why she's any good, because you can jump away from assassins, aggro, etc. Vocal warm up all of the time. And then again with Janet, you pretty much use her on bushy maps, so you need the vision gear and the shield gear because you want to have as much health as possible as a gem carrier. Next up, we've got Otis, so fat splatter all of the time, ink refills all of the time, and then yeah, depending on bushy map or non-bushy map, you switch between these two. I mean, supercharged gear isn't really that effective, so I won't even shy away from going damage gear and shield gear. But yeah, definitely the vision gear on the Otis. So now moving over to Buster. This one's very easy. Slow-mo replay all of the time. Kevlar vest all of the time as well. And then you want to go speed and damage gear pretty much all the time Buster, because you only want to play Buster on those open maps. If it's a non-open map, I just go with the health gear instead. Next up, well, if it is an open map, sorry. Anyways, Grey. We've got Walking Cane, which is your better option. New perspective, you want to play in Hot Zone, Gem Grab, and then in Knockout and Bounty, you want to use Fake Injury. And then because with Grey, you just want to be spamming your Walking Cane as much as possible. So you go with a gadget cooldown and the shield gear with him. Artie is next, and Artie, unless you like playing a really open Bounty and Knockout map, then Out of Line is your by far better option. Recording is by far a better option as well. And then health gear and the shield gear, because a damage gear just doesn't really work with RT. Next up, we've got Willow. So Willow, all the pros use Dive. The reason why Dive is so good is because you can use it to juke out like a Chester Hypercharge or just anything of that kind. You can just dive and save yourself. So really good. Obsession is going to be by far a better option as well, because most of the time you use Willow in Brawl or whatever, but also that's the reason why you use her, right? You use her to try and, you know, get a kill with the person you've taken over. Yeah, it's just better. That's all you need to know. Damage gear and the shield gear are going to be better for Willow. Doug is next, and this is really easy. Extra mustard, unless you're literally just playing knockout, and double sausage might be better. But still like extra mustard because it comes in clutch once the gas closes in. So self-service as well, it's going to be better. Helps you charge up your hypercharge quicker. And then again, it depends on what matchup you have. I probably need to buy the shield gear with Doug, just in case it's a really open map. Then this is probably your better option. Next up, you got Chuck. So Chuck is just terrible in this meta. Even in Heist, he's not the greatest, but it depends on what map it is, right? If you're playing a map which is a straight line to like safe zone, then rerouting is going to be better, because what you can often do, pros are pretty good at stopping Chuck now, but what you often do is you place two posts at the same time. You know, you super up, you can gadget and then throw the last post onto a high save, so that's why it's better. Ghost Train is going to be better in some other situations, maybe like Kabim Canyon, or if you're playing it outside of Heist. And then Pit Stop is going to be your better option, and with his gears you probably don't want to stay away from this at all. Next up, we've got Charlie. So Charlie, spiders are going to be by far your better option, unless you are facing off against, I don't know, literally only brawlers that shoot through the spiders. You may as well go personal space, especially in Gem Grab. This can actually be pretty underrated. Slimy is 100% a better option as well. And then again, it depends on what matchup you're up against. If you're up against snipers, you want to go gadget cooldown. If you're up against other things, you know, damage gear, health gear are definitely applicable as well. Next up, we've got Miko. Miko's easy. Clip and Scream's going to be by far your better option. There might be a few maps where Presto is better. Again, I'm not the best at Miko, so I wouldn't really know, but Clip and Scream is the one that pretty much all of them use. And then Monkey Business is a better option unless you are playing Heist. Then Record Smash is better. And then damage gear and the shield gear. Next up, we've got Melodie. So again, interlude and fast beats every single time. I mean, this star power actually seemed good when Melodie first got released, but yeah, it's just not actually good. And then damage gear and the shield gear with Melodie. So now moving over to Lily, starting off with her gadget Vanish 100% of the time. Vigilance as well, pretty much 100% of the time as well, because you're just so fast with this star power. And then with Lily, I switch between these two. It depends all on the matchup. If it's a really, really tough matchup, I actually switch to gadget cooldown, because I just want to apply as much pressure as possible, just constantly spamming the Vanish. But damage gear is also really good with Lily. Next up, we've got Clancy. So Clancy, this is always like a big debate. I think the best build is Tactical Retreat, especially since it's 13 seconds now, and Recon. So, I mean, I won't shy away from going snappy shooting as well. I really like this gadget. But, you know, once you get to level 3, at least you can use Tactical Retreat. So I think this is the best build right now. Don't go pumping up. People make the same mistake all of the time. And this is only good if you're facing off against like 3 tanks or 3 assassins. You just don't need your ammo back after you kill people because your super does that anyway. The reload speed with Clancy isn't that long, so you just don't need the star power. Just stop. I know this only gives you 2 tokens, but that's the reason like why Clancy is so bad, is because it takes so long to get out of level 1. Like, you're going to be stuck on level 1. If you use this build, you're going to be stuck on level 1 forever. Even against tanks, it might be pretty difficult. So yeah, don't be an idiot. Don't go pumping up. It's not good, guys. Please stop going it. Damage gear and shield gear with Clancy is better. So Mo is next, and dodgy digging is better. There's a few use cases for this gadget, but dodgy digging's better. And again, I advise getting both star powers because the second star power gives you extra range. I'll tell you guys all the time about this. If you're facing more control comps, you're going to struggle to gain your super. Speeding ticket is better. A lot of pros use speeding ticket. And then again, bushy map, you want to swap between these 2. Next up, we've got Juju. So Juju, Elementalist is your better gadget, but I wouldn't shy away from going Voodoo as well, because this is really good just to get that slow. The slow, I think, has been fixed most of the time. It used to be bugged where the slow didn't actually take effect, but I think it's fixed now. I've been using it a little bit and it's pretty good. And then most time, Guarded Gree is your better option just to waste opponent's ammo as much as possible, unless you're facing off against an assassin. Numbing Needles can be good, but I just think the extra shield is your better choice. And then damage and shield gear, you never want to go away from that. Ollie is next. So Ollie, All Eyes on Me is by far your better gadget, unless it is a super tough matchup and a really open map, then Regulate will be better. But All Eyes on Me is very good. It can also help you defend yourself against those aggro brawlers. And then Renegade's gonna be better unless you're playing Belle's Rock. This can be good on Belle's Rock, but I still just like Renegade. And again, I probably need to buy this shield gear on Ollie, but I like health gear as well on the Ollie. Next up, we've got Lumi. So Lumi, yeah, this gadget, this star power, just both by far the better options. This gadget is absolutely awful, and then this star power just doesn't. What even is it at this point? Half time is such a good gadget, star power, and then it's always damage gear and shield for me with Lumi. I used to like the health gear, but damage gear is just better because with Lumi you're often staying on low health a lot because you're just spamming out attacks a lot. Finks is next. Back to the Finkster, absolutely. This star power as well is easily the best option. It is literally the reason why Finks is so good in the game right now. Such a good star power. And then again with Finks, you just kind of want to experiment. Do you want the health gear? Do you want the shield gear? Do you want the damage gear? Most time you want damage, and then shield. You can never go wrong with that. Next up, we've got Jae Yong. So I did experiment a bit with Slow Song, and it's all right, but you just need that extra damage with Jae Yong. It just helps you confirm kills. It also helps you, if someone's behind a wall, it helps you deal damage to them. So it's a really good gadget. The crowd goes mild, yep. And then I either go health or damage. I actually like the health gear on Jae Yong, just because often, you're supporting your teammates a lot with heals or whatever, but it's very rare that you actually get to heal up. So health gear can just help you top up nicely. And then Ali is pretty easy. Most time you want, but all the time you want cold-blooded. All the time you want your better run as well. And then with gears, it's either speed and damage, or it is damage and shield gear. Next up, we have Mina. So in terms of the gadgets, Windmill is by far your better option. Unless you're facing off against Mortis or any type of tank, then this can actually be a really strong gadget. But Windmill is your better option. This star power is by far your better option. Even when Mina was broken, this star power just wasn't good. This star power is so broken, especially because you can get so much healing from your last attack. And then damage and the shield gear is just the way to go with Mina. I mean, health gear can be good as well, but damage gear is so good, especially if you're weak. Most time when you dash in, you're weak, and then you can get the last attack. It does so much damage. Ziggy is next. So Ziggy, I think the best build, Electro Shuffle is by far a better option. Probably need to buy the gadget cooldown because low-key, it could be one of the better gadgets now since the gadget nerf. Since the gadget nerf. And then star power, Thunderstruck is by far a better option. NA likes this one for whatever reason, but since the nerf to Ziggy's reload speed, I think Thunderstruck's just even better now. It was the better one anyways, just because it actually makes your super threatening. If you run this star power and then use super, you can just actually just run the super. It's not actually even scary, is it? So yeah, you want to go between damage, this and this in terms of Ziggy. Next up, we've got GG. So with GG, I don't know, she's just ass, right? But at least this gadget is pretty good because it enables you to charge a super more effectively. I like Helping Hand more, but I won't shy away, especially with the buffs to go. This star power, again, she's just bad either way. Maybe some GG mains have some preference. Again, let me know in the comment section below whether you agree or disagree. But I've just been going this one just because you can cycle as much supers as possible. And then damage gear and the shield gear. Next up, we've got Glober. So I used to always like... this gadget is better. I used to like more lumens on release, but Slippery Savior is by far a better option because it helps you charge up your super much more effectively. If you charge onto you and your teammates, you get 75% of your super charge, which makes it much easier. And then, yeah, this second star power is better. And then damage gear and the shield gear is going to be your better option because once he gets his damage pops, you actually heal more with Glowy, which is great. Nagia is next, and both gadgets are usable. If you're playing Gem Grab, then this gadget is better. The other gadget is better in the other modes. In terms of star powers, it is pretty matchup dependent. Both of them are actually a bit mid, to be honest. This star power is the one that most pros use, but if you're facing off against sharpshooters, or if you're facing off against single shot brawlers, most of them are sharpshooters, but you get what I mean, this one can be better. Or if you're playing like a hot zone or a brawl ball, something a bit more aggressive where you're going to get more kills, then this star power is better. And then, yeah, I'll just use gadget cooldown. You probably would just opt for damage gear though, because this gadget just doesn't really feel as powerful anymore. Damien is next, and Damien's really easy. You want the healing one all of the time. There probably are some use cases for this gadget, which, again, if you're facing off against loads of range brawlers, this could be pretty cheesy, but yeah, I like the healing one way more. Second star power is by far your better option. And then with Damien, again, it literally just depends on the matchup, switching between these, but damage and shield gear you can never really shy away from. Next up, we've got Spike. So Spike, life plan, absolutely all of the time. Even, I mean, if you're facing off against like a Mortis or a Assassin's, popping pincushion, yeah, but it doesn't have, it got so heavily nerfed that it's not even that good anymore. And then Curveball is going to be your better option, again, unless you're facing off against multiple tanks. And then, you know, it's either damage or the vision gear, depending on what map and whether it's grassy or not. In terms of Crow, Insta Poison is your better option for sure. Unless, again, if you're facing off against like an Edgar or a Mortis or multiple aggressive brawlers, and Slow and Toxin can be good. Carrying Crow is going to be by far your better star power. And then I normally swap between these two with Crow just because you can't really go wrong with him. I mean, you can even go speed as well, but it feels a bit overkill with him. And then we've got Leon. So yeah, Lollipop drop all of the time. Smoke trails as well, 100% of the time. It is so broken, especially when you combine it with the hypercharge. And then, yeah, damage and shield gear. I mean, you could even go with gadget cooldown if you want to spam a lot, but most people just go damage. Okay, so we're on the final stretch here, moving on to Sandy. So this gadget all of the time, Brood Sands all of the time, and then speed and damage gear with Sandy is always your better option. Amber is next, and Dancing Flames is still probably your better option overall, but a lot of people are starting to use Fire Starters a bit more because you use Amber on more open maps now. And then both star powers are a bit meh, to be honest. Some pros use Scorching, some use Wild Flames. Wild Flames is probably a better option. And then in terms of the gears, you want reload gear every time, and then either the vision gear, damage gear, or shield gear on top of Amber is pretty nice. And next up, we've got Meg. So Meg, Jolting Volts is going to be your better option. Heavy Metal as well is going to be your better option as well. And then you go with heal gear and the shield gear with Meg because you pretty much only use Meg for the health. Surge is next. Again, Power Shield is going to be a better option. In pro play though, people, Power Surge is going to be better because in pro play it's really hard to actually get away from your first level. So Power Surge is just better. Unless you're literally facing off against a tank or an assassin, then Power Shield is better. Against Serve Ice Cold, damage and the shield gear all the time with Surge. Next up, we've got, unless it's a bushy map, you probably could actually go with the speed gear. Next up, we've got Chester, so Candy Beans 100% of the time. Single Bella Mania as well, all of the time. And then with Chester, it's kind of up to you. Damage gear and shield gear, probably your best choices with him. If it's a super bushy map, vision gear can be pretty good as well, but damage and shield gear, you always run that. Next up, we've got Cord. So Cord, again, depending on matchup, most people use Replanting though. The jump is just so effective, but again, if you're literally only there to shut down a tank, especially a tank, or Mortis, then Poison Mushroom can be good. Combo Shrooms is your better star power, but if you're in a really bad matchup, then Mushroom Kingdom can be good. And then, again, I never will swap away from damage and shield gear with Cord. Next up, we got Kit. So, yeah, Cardboard Box all of the time, overly attached all the time. This one in Showdown. And then, yeah, you never will swap away from gadget cooldown because you want to abuse as much invisibility. And then shield gear with Kit. Next up, we've got Draco. Last Stand all of the time. Shredding all of the time. Heist, this is actually pretty good. Outside of that, shredding is better. And then with Draco, it's kind of up to you what you opt for. So I normally go either damage and shield gear or the gadget cooldown. The health gear seems good with Draco, but with Draco, you know, you're cycling supers effectively. You pretty much never want to like just be doing nothing and, you know, sitting there and healing. You just want to be running at the opponents all game long. So go with this shield gear. Next we'll go Kenji. So yeah, this gadget all of the time. This star power all of the time. And then damage gear all of the time with Kenji. Never go wrong with this build. Pierce is next, so if you're up against an Edgar or a Mortis or any assassin, shield knockback is going to be better. Everything else here, swim if possible, is always your better option. And then again here, you're always going to go damage and shield gear. Kaze, again, I mean, invisibility can be good against noobs, but this is by far a better gadget in pro play. This is by far a better star power as well. I mean, both of them are a bit in terms of star powers, and then damage gear and shield gear. And then lastly with Sirius, again, a Starborn is by far your better gadget, and this is by far your better star power as well. Enables you to build up your clones a lot more effectively. I've seen a few people run this, but it's not actually that good. Go with damage gear and the shield gear with Sirius. So that is going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know whether there's anything you agree with or disagree with in the comment section below. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and see you guys next time.